So on the night of Easter, my mum, Vanda, has passed away. This is, of course, a video announcement about that, and it's probably going to be the hardest video I've ever had to make in my life. But it was important for me to make it. I made a post on my Facebook, a post on Twitter, but most importantly, I think it was right for me to turn on the camera. Today is the day after the funeral, just to make a video to let you, everyone, every single one of you know, because of all the help and the support that you have provided and the constant good wishes for her health due to her cancer, and also the support that you're giving us. I think you deserve it. So that's why today I decided I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to turn on the camera. So, as you know, my mum has been struggling with cancer. She had stage 3 cancer, but recently she had an infection which caused a septic shock. Which, for those who don't know, is a very serious health condition that usually results in death in a large percentage, even when it happens to younger people. So you can imagine that of course, worried us all. And at first, she survived it. I spoke to her on the phone last week. We spoke relatively briefly. I wish I spoke for longer, but to be honest, when I spoke with her, she sounded fine. I mean, as fine as someone can sound considering the situation she was on, but she sounded as usual. And she asked me, do you think of me, do you think about me? And I told her, of course I do, of course I think about you all the time. And so we spoke about a few things. I asked her, Mum, you need to try and eat, because I was told that she wasn't eating much and she was being fed through right now I can't think of the words, but you know what I mean, at the hospital with the whatever. And so I asked her, Mum, come on, do it for me. I know you can do it. Just try to eat, because I wanted her to recover. I wanted her to feel better. And I told her, don't worry about it. Everything is going to be okay. And so, yeah, so we had this phone call, and then that was the end of the phone call. I didn't know, of course, that would have been the last time that I would have spoken to her. If I had known, I would have said a million other things, but that's what happened. Then a couple of days and the situation went from dangerous to final, terminal, so suddenly. I honestly thought I had a lot longer. I really did. But this is what happened. So the moment I knew, then I got the first plane literally last minute for the following day, jumped on the first flight, flew from America. As you know, I live in the US with my wife, and I flew all the way to Italy, hoping that I could get there on time. And as I arrived, I couldn't sleep during the flight at all, but as I usually can't. And then the split second we arrived, my cousins came to pick me up, and we drove directly to the hospital. And we went to the hospital. I went to see her. Her last day, she couldn't speak anymore. She couldn't form sentences. She was barely conscious. In fact, she was in this state of sort of semi-consciousness. She was mostly sleeping. Occasionally she couldn't move anymore. Her legs were basically completely paralyzed, and she barely moved her hands a little bit. She couldn't move her head much, and she was mostly unconscious. Occasionally she would open her eyes, but it looked like she didn't really understand what she saw. She wasn't really there. But I got close to her. I held her hand. I told her, Mum, it's me. It's sono Raffaello. It's Raffaello. And when she heard my name, she understood it. She understood I was there. I could tell. She made a noise. She was like, she made a noise that I can't really do. But I could tell, and that she knew. Like, she did this, and then she said my name. I think she must have mustered every single atom of strength that she had left to be able to say my name. She didn't say it well. She was a little mumbled because, again, she couldn't speak. But she did manage to say my name one last time. And then she made like a gesture like she wanted to hug me, which of course she couldn't. But I could tell that she knew. So at least I gain some comfort, because, living 6,000 miles away in a situation like this is tough. But I was always like afraid that I wouldn't make it in time, but I'm glad that I did. I thank the Lord that I did. And so when I arrived, this happened. We had this exchange, and then she went back to this sleeping state, if you will. Sorry if my my words and my explanations today are horrible. I'm not my usual self, but then I'm very tend to be articulate, I suppose. Not really today, but I hope you'll excuse me for that. And then after that, just a few hours after that, she passed away. And in a way, I feel that she waited. That's what I think she did. She really waited for me, which is very humbling. It's something that I'm grateful for, that she could find that strength to wait for me. To me, that shows like the strength of a mother. Anyways, we had her funeral services. Of course, I could contact her. She had a favorite priest, so we talked to him. And he did the service, which was nice because he knew her. He knew her very well, and he spoke wonderful words that were, you could tell that it was from a person that knew how my mum was. And for this video, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how my mum was. And she was a light. She was very happy, constant laughter. She was very generous, very kind. She was a person that could listen to you, whoever you were. It doesn't matter if she had known you for a decade or if she had just met you. She would give you the same importance, the same time. She would listen to your problems. She would worry about you. She would overfeed you. Southern Italian mother, I suppose. What did you expect? But that was her. She was selfless. And I honestly can't believe that she's gone. And to me, this world appears much darker now. And in a way, my only regret, which is a message that I want to share with you right now, whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, if there is a person in your life, a close person, a loved one in your life that you haven't spoken with for a long time, whatever the reason, whether it be a father, a mother, son, daughter, grandparents, whoever they are, please pause this video, contact them now, and share your feelings. Tell them that you love them. Do that. Don't miss this opportunity, because oftentimes what I'm learning from this is that we oftentimes we take our loved ones for granted. We think that they're always going to be there. There is always going to be time to tell them how we feel. And I did, like last time, for my family, it's always been awkward. Like, I know there are families out there. I notice this particularly with Americans now that I'm like, part of my family is American. I notice this. Americans tend to tell each other, hey, love you. Like, they hug each other a lot. They tell each other a lot. Some Italians do as well, but in my family, there's always been a little bit of awkwardness when it comes to, we usually like expressed our feelings in our actions rather than with our words. But I've got to say, last time I was here, my wife encouraged me to share my feelings with my mom. So I did. I went to her room. I told her that I loved her. She cried, was very emotional. And she told me that she loved me more than her whole life. Which I could tell even in her last moments. Even when she was mostly a husk, I could still tell that was a defining feature and characteristic of her. So I did tell her that, and I thank my wife for pushing me out of my comfort zone, if you will. The one thing I regret is that in my last phone call with her, I felt, after I told her that, of course, I was constantly thinking of her and all that, and I tried to encourage her, but I did feel the prompt on telling her that I loved her, and I didn't. Why did I not do it? Because I was imagining that it would upset her, like not upset her in a bad way, in a good way, but it would make her cry, and she was already crying anyways because of her condition, so I didn't want that to kind of make her cry more, and so I didn't do it, but now I wish I did. So that's why I'm telling you just pause this video and do this for me. Just contact whoever it is that you haven't spoken with. Doesn't matter the reason, doesn't matter who was right, who was wrong. just tell them. But I do ultimately feel comfort in my faith, in my Christian faith, and my belief of eternal life. She was a woman of God. She was a great example. So, Mum, if you're listening, I love you so much. I want to thank each and every single one of you for your support, for you were asking me constantly, how is your mom, how's she doing, all the prayers that you sent for the the religious ones among you, and for the best wishes for the people that are not religious, but still I appreciate so much. And, that you cared for my mother and for me, of course. And one of the last things that she did say, my cousin told me, when she could still speak last week, was that she said, tell everyone goodbye, tell everyone thank you, and that includes you as well. So this is a message from her to all of you. Anyways, I'm going to go now, but I won't be gone for long because that's what I do. I mean, we all grieve in different ways. I know some people, particularly YouTubers, take time off. I'm not going to do that because to me, creation helps me because I get distracted. I get something I can focus on. And I've been playing games. I've been playing a few retro games. I got an Amiga 500 in the back, and I've been replaying the games I used to play when I was a teenager. I've got a whole setup. It's great. It's an 80s setup. It looks great. I'm sure you'd love it. I might show it on my third channel soon. But in general, thank you so much for everyone who has supported us through the crowdfunding. Of course, I used that to pay for the funeral expenses and everything else to make her life as comfortable as possible so far. And anything that is left will be used to help my dad. I'm already changing all the so I will be the recipient. My account will be the recipient of every payment, every rent, light bill, medical. My dad is going to have surgery this month, so any medical bill, anything that has to do with my dad will now be. I'll take care of that until for the rest of his life. I'll do that as I was going to do for my mum, and I did thanks to you. So thank you so much for that. And sorry if I haven't been great with the updates, but it's been a little difficult sometimes. I've been trying to keep receipts of every euro and dollar spent because I wanted everyone to know, hey, this is where the money's going, this is where everything is going. And friends of my mum have done a donation for cancer research in her name, and I want to make that something that we'll do on a yearly basis. So I've already donated to St. Jude's Hospital this year, and I want to continue to do that. And every year maybe I could organize something like that so that families can be helped through this period, and because it's tough. And if any of you have gone through anything like this, both when it comes to the personal loss, but also when it comes to battling cancer and all the different difficulties that has to do with, I think it's nice to be able to have help, whether it be emotional support, whether it be financial support. Anything helps, right? Because you already got so much in your mind that not having to think about bills really, really helps. And so I thank you for that, and know that we are grateful as a family for everything you've done. And so, as I was saying, I will continue to produce. I have a video that I'm producing on. It's a video that's been planned in a while. It's ready to be filmed. The research has been done together with one of my main researchers, who was an excellent researcher, and we've been doing this research on the eternal flame, so the sacred flame of Rome, in connection with the temple of Vesta and the Vestal Virgins and all that. And it's because it is about a deep exploration of the not only the concept of the eternal flame and what it meant in ancient Roman culture, but also in ancient Greek culture. And we went into really the depth, even all the way back to prehistorical times, and when originally the concept of an eternal flame that needed to be rekindled began. And I want to keep making this video. I want to make it. I want to produce it. So my production on the channel will continue. And I know, I already know what you're typing. You're typing, no, Metatron, if you need, just take time off. But I don't want to take time off. I love making content for my channel, and particularly this video now has a stronger meaning. And I want to make it as I was gonna make it, and then dedicate it to my mom as, you know, in the hopes of eternal life. Even though it's not a religious video, it's a historical and cultural video, but I still like the idea of being able to dedicate it to my late mom. So I'll be making that video, and production will continue on the channel, on all my channels, because again, I love doing it. I have a whole series of videos on retro gaming. For my third channel, I have a series of videos on language content and linguistic learning on my second channel, and I will put links to all the channels, by the way, in the description box, if you perhaps you weren't aware that I have these other channels. And then I have so many nice videos, fun videos planned for this channel that I will continue. I might be a little slower, also because right now I'm in Italy. I'm gonna stay here. I don't have everything I need. In fact, I'm sorry for the, you should see the light setup. You should see it. It's a mess, but I hope it's still okay. And so I'll be continuing making my videos, and then the rest of the time I'll just spend it with family, and then I'll enjoy pizza, pasta over here, as we always do, and then I'll play my video games, because that's my form of, I suppose, escapism. Is there even such a word? I don't even know. Usually I check my words before I make my videos, but today I haven't checked anything. Little rambly, I would imagine. And but I've got a few consoles here that I enjoy playing, and you know, playing video games helps me out as well. So this is what's going to happen. No change in my upload schedule, and thank you so much again for your support, and thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you so much, noble ones, and I will see you very soon.